Carabao Cup action for Ipswich Town tonight. We're pleased to have Barry Kent back with us on BBC Radio Suffolk. He's summarising at Plough Lane alongside your commentator Brenna Woolley.
So Town get a break from Premier League action tonight. We're back at a ground we've frequented quite a bit these past few seasons. 5 years ago, Town had never ever visited AFC Wimbledon. That's now their fifth trip to them, albeit the first time was at the Dom's temporary home of Kingsmeadow. Despite the fact there are currently 57 league places between the two sides, it's only 7 months since we were last here when Ipswich cruised into round 4 of the FA Cup thanks to a 3-1 win. Would it be nice to see a repeat of that fairly comfortable victory tonight? So the Blues would then head into Saturday's far bigger game against Fulham at Portman Road off the back of their first win of the season. Yes, Graham says Barry's alongside me for this one, and we'll get to detailed team news in a second, Barry, but like me, you're probably more than quietly confident Town can get the job done tonight, aren't you?
Yes, absolutely. You know, all the new players that are coming, of course they're going to have to gel, but with the quality of player that's out there this evening, you look at the midfield, full Swedish international, Kelvin Phillips, who was England's best player in the Euros in 2021. I mean, and you just look all over the team. Jack Clark making his debut. I mean, it's a hugely exciting time to be an Ipswich fan, and you know, anything can happen in the cup, we know that, but the sheer quality on show this evening, you know, this team could nearly, bar one or two exceptions, play against Fulham on Saturday.
Town in complete claret tonight, like they were at the Etihad on Saturday, up against the all blue of AFC Wimbledon. Wimbledon currently 8th in League 2 sets of players shaking hands on the halfway line. So let's get to the team news. Ben Johnson, the sole survivor from the weekend in the Ipswich Town 11. He'll play at right back. 6 debutants in this team, and also 6 full internationals. The debutants: O'Shea, Townsend, Phillips, Kajust, Ogbene and Clark. So it's Walton in goal, a back four of Johnson, O'Shea, Burgess and Townsend. Then it's Phillips alongside Kajust in midfield, the 3 of Ogbene, Chaplin the captain, and Clark up top. Al-Hamadi, still Town looking so experienced and so strong when you look at the spine of the side. Walton, O'Shea, Burgess, Phillips, Kajust, Chaplin and Al-Hamadi. On the bench, Slicker, Twanzebe, Wolfenden, Davis, Luongo, Taylor, Harness, Hutchinson and Delap. I've seen the likes of Sam Morsey, Jacob Greaves and George Edmondson down below us. They're part of the travelling party but not featuring tonight. 6 changes for the Wimbledon side from the team that won 1-0 at Cheltenham in the weekend. Ogundare, Tilley, Beeler, Ball, Maycock and Stevens come in for Smith, Neuville, Hippolyte, Furlong, Harbottle and former Town striker Joe Pigott on loan here from Orient. In goal for the home side, the youngster Goodman on loan from Palace. Probably going to play a back 3 of Ogundare, Johnson and Lewis. The wing-backs, Beeler down the right, Tilley down the left. In midfield, Reeves the captain, Ball and Maycock, and then it's Stevens alongside Bugil, number 9 Bugil, and Ali Al-Hamadi were joint top scorers here last season with 13 goals. On the bench, Ward, Furlong, O'Toole, Kelly, Neuville, Smith, Hippolyte, Williams and Pigott. Anyone in particular you're looking forward to seeing tonight, Barry, for Town?
Well, Jack Clark particularly. He was excellent for Sunderland against us last year, even though we had a good victory at the Stadium of Light. I think he's a player with massive potential. Obviously, the Swedish international, we don't know, we haven't seen him. I'm interested to see him. And also our new flying winger, just hot in from Luton. So there's so much to look forward to, and as I say, the quality of this team is, when you think, when we were last here, even in the FA Cup in January, it was taken on a completely new dimension.
Oh, not that long ago, Town had a miserable 3-0 defeat here under Paul Cook. Josh Harrop got sent off that night. That was a particular low point. Of course, now a completely different club. Holds around about 9,300 here at the Cherry Records Stadium as play gets underway under the lights in all 4 corners of this ground. Nowhere near capacity, albeit Town have brought 1,800 supporters. No gaps in the away end off to our right hand side, but a head tennis as Ipswich Town try to stretch AFC Wimbledon at the back. It's probably worth saying that there's no Sam Smodic, simply because he's cup tied, played and scored for Blackburn in round 1 of this competition, so no fears over an injury for him. Thrown on the far side, which Ogundare will take, one of a couple of academy graduates in this AFC Wimbledon side. Strong header forward by Burgess, as we expected, playing to the left of the former Burnley man O'Shea. O'Shea and Clark coming in just off the back of that defeat at the Etihad. There is Chaplin crouching over the ball, losing it to Maycock, number 8. Then belted forward by Tilley, the only naturally left-footed player in this side. It's looped across the far side by Dara O'Shea. There is Townsend, former West Brom left-back's first touch of the game. Wimbledon bring it down with Bila, another academy player in their side. In goes Kajust. Kajust wins the ball really well. Named in the latest Sweden squad, the man on loan from Napoli. Header on halfway from Calvin Phillips. What a marquee signing that is, on loan from Manchester City for the season. Lovely touch by Al-Hamadi to Clark, running with the ball. That's what his game's all about. Former Tottenham and Leeds player lays it off back in the end to Cameron Burgess. Yet to see a league minute so far for Ipswich Town this season. It's going to be interesting to see what happens to the likes of O'Shea and Clark in terms of Saturday's team against Fulham. Here is O'Shea in possession, played in the Premier League last season. So too this man, Ben Johnson. Back it goes to O'Shea, says he likes to play out from the back. This time he's found the captain, Chaplin, down the right-hand side. Town trying to ask some questions of Wimbledon. In the 3rd minute of this cup tie, chance for the cross to come in from Ogbeni. Cleared away as far as Kajust. He recycles it out to the left-hand side. In comes Townsend's cross, headed down by Chaplin. Maybe a chance for Al-Hamadi back at Wimbledon. Chaplin's effort is just wide. He appeals for a corner kick and gets it.
Yeah, that was a good cross, good football there. Had a half chance there, Al-Hamadi, really, to score against his former club. Ball breaks to Chaplin, he's on it quickly, and just the slightest deflection has taken it past the post.
Corner kick to Ipswich Town in front of the away end off to our right. It's going to be Townsend, the number 22. Second choice left back at the moment for Ipswich. Good professional, been around the block. He's got his right hand in the air, that's the signal. Left-footed, looks a good ball from Townsend, headed in! And Ipswich Town take the lead inside 3 minutes, and there's no celebration. It's Ali Al-Hamadi back at Plough Lane. The dream start for Town in this cup tie.
Yeah, beautiful corner, bisected the 6-yard line, and to be fair to Al-Hamadi, came in at full speed, headed the ball on the run. Goalkeeper absolutely no chance. 3 minutes on the clock, 1-0.
Well, Alex Matthew would be very excited if that's the quality of corner kick we're going to see from Connor Townsend, because that was an absolute beauty. And the Wimbledon fans in front of us, a few of them applauded the reaction from Al-Hamadi. Didn't want to take part in any celebration whatsoever. He knows what this club gave to him. It was the springboard for him to be playing against Liverpool and Manchester City in the Premier League.
Yeah.
But yeah, spot on, Barry. No goalkeeper was saving that.
No.
Headed away by O'Shea. That'll calm things down for this new look Ipswich Town side. Boy just arrived in front of us has missed the opening goal. Wimbledon, Johnny Jackson, their manager, good friend of Kieran McKenna's. We'll be looking to see how his team react to that setback against Premier League opposition. Two of them came through together at Tottenham. Hasn't had any joy so far against Tottenham, Jackson, whenever he's been against Town, should I say, whenever he's been in charge of either Charlton or AFC Wimbledon in recent years. This game started in a similar vein. Chaplin, lovely crossfield ball on the volley into the path of Townsend with an assist to his name. He gets up to the halfway line, Kajust demands the ball, gets it off of him, slips it back to Townsend on the far side. Town playing possession football in the middle third. Decent atmosphere being created by the Ipswich Town fans. Here is Johnson. Thought about playing it to Phillips on halfway. Phillips just patrolling the central area of the field. For the moment it's Burgess. Burgess forward of the ball. In between right wing back and right centre half, but all the way back to Goodman. Just the start we were looking for, Barry, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, settled down. And obviously, people made the point that the players, a lot of them have not played together. I mean, one has only just come in today to the club, or yesterday, so that would really settle them down. But to be fair, they've started to purr a bit like a Premier League side should do, with no disrespect to Wimbledon, against the Division 2 outfit.
Here is Ryan Johnson, number 6. The H on his back already ripped off in these early exchanges. 6 minutes on the clock on BBC Radio Suffolk Sport. Lewis into the centre to Ogundare, the number 33, closed down by Jack Clark, wearing 47 for Ipswich. Thrown on the far side to AFC Wimbledon. Only 22 years since the club started in what was the Combined Counties Premier Division. 13 years since they entered the Football League. And only 16 years ago they were playing at the same level as Needham Market currently are. It's been quite some trajectory, and of course they got up to League One level and spent 3 years there facing Ipswich Town in that little run. As Wimbledon in blue try to lift the ball down the far side, it's Kajust closes down Beeler, forward from Ogundare, belted away by Burgess. Chaplin gets the ball down, Ogundare tidies up, back to his goalkeeper in all black, Goodman, beaten once already. Ali Al-Hamadi on the score sheet as Burgess glances the header back to Christian Walton, who for me did pretty well against Liverpool in his Premier League debut for the club. Johnson to Chaplin ever available, left-footed ball forward, trying to get Ogbeni in behind. Judging by his stats from last season, if that happens, nobody's going to catch him. Now it's with Burgess, who draws in Bugil, gives it to O'Shea, who won his first couple of headers. Dara O'Shea, forward down the line. It was Kajust. There is Jack Clark, undoubtedly one of the standout players in the Championship last season for Sunderland. The fans were in mourning when that deal went through at the weekend, albeit it had been on the cards for a little while. He's playing on the far side this first half, Clark. We'll see more of him in the second. Lovely ball from O'Shea, headed in field by Townsend, controlled by Clark. There is Kajust on the ball. Kieran McKenna will be pleased with what he's seen from his team so far. Nice play from Kajust, edge of the area, gives it to Al-Hamadi, the goal scorer. Townsend to Clark. This is nice from Town. Clark taking on his man, gets the byline, in comes his cross, headed away before Al-Hamadi was just about to head towards the net point blank. To this right-hand side, Johnson, Town are purring, chance for Ogbeni, low into the box, it comes from him, stabbed away. Goals in this game for Ipswich Town. Nice football. Yeah, lovely football, good flowing movement all the way. Chaplin much more involved tonight than he has been probably in the last 4 or 5 matches we've seen him, which is good to see. Yeah, he needs this game, Connor Chaplin. Nice for him to captain the side as well. This new look Ipswich side, 10 changes from the weekend, leading 1-0. Chaplin gives the ball back to Johnson, the only person that has kept his place in the starting lineup. The former West Ham man having his heels clipped, all ends up on this near side by Ball. Free kick to Ipswich Town. It's a free kick which is going to be taken on this near side by Phillips. A couple of yards in from this near touch line. The number 8 is over the ball. England's player of the season not that long ago. Phillips looking up. Town's first goal came from a set piece. In comes Phillips' delivery deep towards the far post. Kajust will sprint after it. Can't keep it in. Too long. That one comes to nothing, sadly. Town 1-0 up after 9.5 minutes. And Town want to stay in this competition, don't they, Barry? They need to get games into this big squad of theirs. Absolutely. I mean, you know, the Premier League is tougher, but it's not got the relentless amount of games that we've had in the Championship and League One. So there's no reason why, with this squad particularly, they shouldn't go, you know, deep into this competition, given a reasonable draw. Yeah, that's it. The draw was made after the full-time whistle of Nottingham Forest Newcastle tonight. That's an 8 o'clock kick-off. A few ties tonight, including, of course, Colchester versus Brentford. Norwich going out last night at Crystal Palace. A no long trip to Plymouth until at least the new year either. They were a team that lost last night in this competition. It's the next round that the Premier League clubs involved in European competition enter the fray. O'Shea out to the right hand side, good ball. Ogbeni takes it on his chest. Want to take on Tilley. Then it's played forward by Johnson to Chaplin. Johnson gets on the ball inside the area, eventually comes off his shin pads Goes out behind for a goal kick, but Town comfortably on top.
Yeah, and good link up then again between Ogbene and Connor Chaplin. He seems to really be finding his stride tonight.
The goalkeeper puts the ball down. Owen Goodman, actually made 38 league starts for Colchester whilst on loan last season. 20-year-old paces back to his goal line off to our right. It's all just one-tier stands around all four sides of this ground, which is hidden in between flats. It's a tricky one to spot when you're driving nearby. It's on the site of the old dog track here, around about 250 yards or so from the original Plough Lane, the Crazy Gang, etc. Here is Ben Johnson just drying the white ball in his claret shirt off to our left-hand side. The Town fans in the Paul Strank stand behind Christian Walton. Johnson goes short to Chaplin. Chaplin across the edge of his penalty area. Picks out Connor Townsend. From his corner that Ipswich Town took the lead in this game. No further goals. Jens Kajust on loan from Napoli. Back to Burgess. Burgess jabs the ball high in the air. Nodded away by Tilley. Controlled by Ben Johnson. He's seen a fair bit of the ball in the last few moments. O'Shea gets a hold of it. Gives it to Burgess. Now Townsend. Town ruling the roost in terms of possession and threat. We're pegged back to 1-1 through a penalty, I remember, in the FA Cup tie in January before going on to win through goals from Twanzebe and Taylor. There's an own goal that had given Town the lead in that fixture. Here is Ogbene. Can play anywhere across that three apparently, or even in an emergency as a striker. Real versatility. O'Shea, good ball forward to Clark, who'd found a nice pocket of space. Jack Clark, edge of the area, great run from Clark, gives it to Chaplin, who dummies it. Chance for Ogbene. Ogbene dinks it into the middle, pulled back, just on his debut, deflected, cleared away out as far as Phillips. Now he's beaten to the ball. Wimbledon through Reeves, get it up towards Stevens, but Wimbledon might have a runner from midfield. It is Maycock who goes down, and Mr. Linnington, the referee, tends to referee at championship level, allowed that one to go. Phillips to this right hand side, and it's with Ogbene. Had a trial at Ipswich Town something like 6 years ago while Mick McCarthy was the boss. Ended up going to Brentford on that occasion. It was when Town signed Barry Cotter. Both of them came over from Ireland, but after 4 years at Rotherham, he moved on for just one season at Luton, and now he's an Ipswich Town player. Johnson, again, I've mentioned his name more than anyone in the last 5 minutes, I think, to Ogbene, who I just talked about, the number 21. Back it goes to Ben Johnson. Phillips again on the ball. Calvin Phillips of Ipswich to Kajust. Kajust slipped the pass early on, 14 minutes gone. There is Clark. Back he goes to Walton, way out of his penalty area, almost on the edge of the centre circle. Christian Walton. Walton out to the right, great ball, controlled by Ogbene up against Tilley. Now Johnson into the centre of the Wimbledon half, the only goal scorer so far. Al-Hamidi to Kajust. Kajust forward, he spotted the runner Chaplin, that was unlucky.
Yeah, very quick spot there. You can see he's obviously played at the highest level because he saw that ball within a split second. Just overhit would have been a great ball to Connor.
Town's pressing was good. Phillips wins the ball for Ogbene, who's nudged down by Tilley, and the loose ball is out behind. Still Town have this 1-0 lead given to them pretty much in the stroke of the 3rd minute through Ali Al-Hamidi. It was a corner kick from Townsend, and a really strong header on the run from Al-Hamidi gave the goalkeeper no chance whatsoever.
Considering most of these players have not played together before, they've settled really, really well.
They have. They've done very well so far, Ipswich Town, very much in that 4-2-3-1. Seen that from the Wimbledon goal kick. O'Shea flings himself at the aerial challenge. It comes down to Tilley. Tilley tries to get away from Ogbene. Gets it through the legs of Kajust. Tilley goes down. Good battling from Town in midfield. Wimbledon get it out though to Beeler. Step over from the number 2. On the right hand side it's Ogundare. In comes the cross, eventually from Bieler to the Ipswich Town area, headed chested down by Chaplin into the path of Phillips. Phillips lifts it out to the right hand side, and Ali Al-Hamadi, he's not got the strength to bounce Lewis off of him. It's Al-Hamadi who ends up on the deck, but it's an Ipswich Town throw. And yeah, Kieran McKenna will be very pleased with what he's seen from his players so far. This team with 10 changes from Manchester City at the weekend. It's a throw-in, says the referee, as Johnson tries to take a free kick. Town back in action on Saturday, their second game of the season at Portman Road, final one before the international break. Fulham, the visitors. Decent side, Fulham. Of course, they won at Portman Road last season in this very competition. That was round 4 that Town reached after beating Bristol Rovers at Reading, and then the comeback against Wolves. Fulham just too big a challenge on that particular night. Let's see what happens on Saturday between 3 and 5. Burgess looking to Al-Hamadi, headed away by the big man Lewis at the back. Real enforcer for Wimbledon. Johnson on the deck to Ogbeni, infield to Phillips. Phillips bypasses Kajust. Townsend's first touch takes the ball out from under his feet. There is Clark, and one impressive run from him a few moments ago. Thankfully didn't feature for Sunderland at Preston in round 1, that's why he's available. Ogbeni running at his defender Tilly. Tilly touches it out of play for a throw to Ipswich Town. Chio Ogbeni, as he prefers to be known, lobs the ball into the hands of Ben Johnson. 1-0 live on BBC Radio Suffolk. Start the build up to Saturday's game in the matchday preview on Friday. Chaplin to Johnson. Johnson goes towards the corner flag. In comes his cross. He did well to hold off Tilly. It swung back out of the area. Clark gets on it. Gives it to Townsend. Of course, new partnerships all around the pitch for Ipswich Town tonight. Even the likes of Chaplin and Al-Hamadi that know each other from last season have played together an awful lot. I mean, the longest running partnerships maybe Burgess and Walton in terms of minutes played together in the past. Otherwise, it's very new. Johnson receives the ball from Phillips, drives forward for Ipswich Town to the right hand side. Ogbeni put in one really dangerous cross early on. Johnson to Phillips. Phillips inside the area, goes down. Referee says nothing doing. He took a nudge. He thinks it should have been a penalty. Ogbeni, as play continued, got his cross in off Tilly, out for a corner kick.
Well, he certainly took a nudge there, there's no question about it, and there was no contact with the ball from the defender, so I'm not quite sure what the referee saw there.
And of course, no VAR here tonight.
Phillips has grown into the game. Everything he does is simple. There's nothing flash about it, there's nothing extraordinary, but he just keeps the ball moving, and he's always in space to receive a pass. And okay, he's got a long way to go as yet to the levels he was.
Townsend with a deep cross towards the far post from this corner. It swings out. Sorry, Barry.
Right, the levels he was, but if he can get to 90% of that level, 95%, he'll be a massive addition for this club.
Eventually Lee Carsley or whoever will take an interest with Ipswich Town at the highest level. Ball's out on the far side of the Wimbledon goal for a goal kick to them. The Town fans in fine fettle, a fair number of them in the pink shirts. They've sold well in recent times. Ipswich Town's third kit. Here is Goodman, the goalkeeper, beaten after 3 minutes by Ali Al-Hamadi. To halfway beyond, Townsend belts the ball up in the air, controlled by Wimbledon in midfield. Then it's smacked forward by Reeves out to the far side. Bieler can't keep it in. Ipswich Town throw at left back with 20 minutes or thereabouts played live on BBC Radio Suffolk Sport. 8th meeting overall. Town have won 3 in the past, just the one AFC Wimbledon victory, and we've had 3 draws in the 7 previous. A particularly drab 0-0 between these two sides. That might have been the one at Kingsmeadow.
Yes, I think it was.
Chelsea women play, yeah,
yes.
That seems to ring a bell.
Yeah.
Another totally forgettable evening following Ipswich Town before the turnaround, before the McKenna years. O'Shea to Burgess, just inside Wimbledon's half of the field. Into Clark. Clark's taken out. Rather forceful challenge by Reeves. Town take a free kick quickly. Johnson to Chaplin. The captain then finds Ogbenny. Infield to Johnson. Drops a shoulder. Wants to try and get away from Clark, the number 4. Here comes the challenge of Tilley. Ball goes out of play for a throw to the Dons, who've only reached round 3 of this competition once in their relatively short history. This will be a sizable scalp for them tonight, but they're behind. And based on what we've seen in this opening 21 minutes, Town should be able to go on and get more goals. Kajust taking on 2 players. High boot awarded against the Swede. Free kick directly in front of us, maybe 15 yards inside Ipswich Town's half of the field. Mr. Linnington in his orange shirt, making his point quite clearly to Reeves and Tilley. Jake Reeves, the captain, in his 3rd spell as a Wimbledon player, something of a cult hero in this part of the world. Wimbledon against the run of play, looking for an equaliser. He plays a diagonal free kick into the Town box. Great header down by Townsend. That was centre-half-esque from him. It's a really good leap. He's done well in this first quarter.
Yeah, that was definitely a centre-half's leap there, and a firm header away.
He looked a sensible, steady signing in the summer, didn't he? We needed cover at left back. He's got a bit of a Premier League experience, and he's got good experience at West Brom. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Leif Davis, I can't imagine will play every single game this year. That was one thing we lacked a little bit last year. Thankfully, he saw the year through, but you can't expect him to play a full year in the Premier League. So he's a very, very astute signing. Cleared towards the centre circle by that man Townsend. Tilley goes up and over Ogbenny, landed right on the base of his back. The referee signalling to Ogbenny Wise, blown against him for a foul. Free kick to Wimbledon. I don't know if I'd class this as Wimbledon having a little spell, but at least they've had a couple of free kicks inside Ipswich Town's half of the field.
Yeah. I haven't really got anywhere near Walton's goal at the moment. I can't remember Walton having to field the ball apart from maybe a back pass. Yeah,
nice and straightforward so far. Reeves, ball into the Ipswich Town area, might drop down back to goal for Bagil. Bagil's done very well, then he goes down, no penalty. Fans are up in arms, but it has to be said, nobody out there in blue has asked the question of Mr. Linnington.
He had a player either side of him, didn't he, Brennan? He had nowhere to go.
No, there's a little tangle, but nothing in it. You see, look at players' reactions, and there wasn't a single Wimbledon player, apart from maybe the man on the deck, more in hope than anything, Bagil. The Town one did look more of a penalty shot a few moments ago, but we're still 1-0 Ipswich. Al Hamidi on a chase now, trying to get the ball. He got the breakthrough after 3 minutes. He charges into Lewis, one of a couple of former Stockport players in that back line tonight for Wimbledon. It's a club on the rise. Stockport doing very well at the moment.
Townsend again with an excellent clearing header.
He's done well, hasn't he? Clark to Johnson. Seen lots of the ball. Johnson could just wants it, gets it, gives it back to Johnson. Along the floor, he finds Ogbenny. Johnson once again. People watching on from their balconies of the flats opposite. Got a great vantage point. Burgess to Phillips. Phillips controls it, gives it back to Burgess. Then it goes up to Clark. First thought was to go forward. That option wasn't on, so sensibly enough gives it back to O'Shea. O'Shea digs the ball out to the left-hand side. Finds Townsend. It would have been together at West Brom. Here's Kajust. Square to Johnson. Johnson has a go. He gets underneath it. Decent hit from him. Always rising over the bar.
Yeah, and that was a well-constructed move there between Clark, Kajust, Townsend, and they moved the ball from left to right, and it was worth a shot. He wasn't challenged, just about 2 yards over the bar, but excellent approach play.
Goodman just digging his toe into the edge of his 6-yard box off to our right-hand side. His side trailing 1-0 to Ipswich Town, live on BBC Radio Suffolk Sports. Town v Fulham, Saturday from 2. And it's the international break after that. Town go to Brighton and Southampton. Successive Saturdays on the south coast. And amongst all of that, hopefully a round 3 Carabao Cup tie. Then it's Aston Villa as the third and final league game of next month, before a trip to West Ham and then home to Everton. Terrible start to the season for Everton. That's a massive game at Portman Road early October. Forward from Burgess down the left-hand side. Townsend's galloped ahead of Clark for once, but he won't get on that ball.
Well, it wasn't a bad ball though. That stretched the defence again.
It's out for a throw to AFC Wimbledon. Given the run around and a lot of this first 26 minutes so far. Thrown to Wimbledon in the right back area. 21st the previous season. They finished 10th last year. It was real progression under Johnny Jackson. More than 100 games in charge. Former Colchester player, of course, very popular in his time at what was largely Layer Road. Bugil. Now Bila crosses into the Ipswich area. Maybe a chance in the Wimbledon box. It's 1-1. So the flag has gone up on the far side. It was a long ball forward. Wimbledon brought it down in the area, swept it into the near stick before Walton could get down in time. But the yellow flag clearly visible far side, so the home celebrations are short-lived.
Yeah, it's a bit unfortunate really, because the ball was crossed, but I think one of our defenders did get ahead on it, but headed it against, I think it was against Burgess, and the ball fell then for their forward who cracked it in, but he was already in an offside position.
Walton, long kick downfield. Ogbenny's going after it. Turned up the pace there. Headed away in the end by Lewis. Cleared fully by Tilley. Just a little reminder though to Ipswich Town. It would be nice to get a 2-goal cushion. Phillips flicks the ball over Maycock in midfield. Taking control of things in there, the England international. Here he is once again. Calvin Phillips. Once more, he gets the ball from Burgess out to the left, and Townsend infield to Kajust, shields it away from Reeves. Switch the vast majority of the possession. Phillips picks up a position between left centre half and left back, gets the ball diagonally, goes back to Burgess, then Clark just trying to get involved, drops deep. Here is Kajust on the centre spot. Along the deck to Johnson, had that one effort over the bar of a few minutes ago. Chaplin, haven't seen too much of him recently. Down goes Kajust, knocked off the ball by Stevens. The referee says foul by Matt Stevens. Phillips to Clark. Out to the far side. They know each other from their time together at Leeds. Clark and Phillips, and of course Leif Davis as well. Here's Clark again. Far side of the field, playing a square ball into the centre of the Wimbledon half. Johnson towards Chaplin. Back again with Ben Johnson. So he probably has the most touches of any Town player in this game. Ogbenny infield to Chaplin. Smuggled out by his marker.
Quite nice controlled build-up again though. Not forcing the pass. Trying to just draw Wimbledon out of their shape. Just to get that final good pass in.
Nice play from Town. Kajust, Burgess, Townsend all involved. Now Clark running with the ball for Ipswich, still has it, taken away from him. Picked up by Bugil, back defending. In the right back area now, the Lebanese striker. He knocks it long. It's warmly applauded by the home crowd for his willingness to get back and dig in when needs be. As out comes Johnny Jackson in Old Navy, aside from his white trainers down in front of us. Pretty much half an hour gone in this game here at Plough Lane, or the Cherry Red Record Stadium as it's currently branded. Chaplin to Townsend. Townsend, who's got an advance of Clark a few times in this first half. Clark to Phillips. Phillips with a diagonal out to the right hand side for Ogbenny. Just too much on that. The idea was right.
Again, the execution wasn't what he wanted, and he's obviously still a bit rusty, to be fair, but he spotted it immediately. That's the sign of a class player.
Wimbledon beat Colchester here 4-2 on the opening day of the season. Beat Bromley in the first round of this competition, so obviously they're one round ahead in terms of games this season. beaten Wycombe from a higher level in the EFL Trophy for what it's worth, but far tougher opponents tonight for AFC Wimbledon. They're 1-0 behind. Al-Hamidi with that goal after 3 minutes, the only one we've seen so far. 27 played since then. Wimbledon have had the ball in the net a few moments ago, but ruled out. Reeves quickly gets the ball away from Chaplin, back to Lewis. Chaplin goes after him. Ogundare to Beeler. Busy player on the far side, Beeler. Out to the far side. Wimbledon still have it. Ogundare down the line. Ball swung out of play.
Yeah, they try to play some nice football, Wimbledon, don't they? They try and play it through the middle. Just haven't quite got the final ball right at the moment. But they're certainly not just lump it forward team.
I remember that about them in January. I particularly liked the left back, Curry, and he went to Oxford. I see he moved up to the Championship in the summer.
Yes, we liked him, didn't we?
It was good, wasn't he?
We did, yeah.
When I was doing my research for that transfer, I missed that one. I had a little look where he was, and he went up to say Oxford United now. Little break and play at the moment. Not quite sure why, but Ipswich Town have a throw in far side. And it's going to be Connor Townsend to take it. Looking forward to seeing him and Clark in close proximity near side in the second half. Chaplin nudged to the ground by the far bigger James Ball, former Rochdale man. Slivington right on the spot. Wants a word with James Ball. I think he's going to give him a yellow card, not for the challenge, or at least a stern warning, possibly for his language, off the back of the decision. I've seen players sent off in this fixture in recent times. I said Josh Harrop earlier on. I remember Kane Vincent Young being sent off here. Then Harry Pell was sent off in the FA Cup tie, but no first card of the night on that occasion. Here is O'Shea, the 25-year-old centre-half, to Burgess, one of last year's survivors. Ball down the far side. Townsend's done well. He's given it back to Calvin Phillips. Square to Ben Johnson. They played together at West Ham last year. Johnson again of Ipswich, trying to burrow his way through a couple of blue shirts. Wimbledon get in the way, but Gill receives it from Greaves. Just no way out for Wimbledon. Town totally on top. O'Shea, Chaplin. Wimbledon getting a little taste of the medicine that Ipswich Town had to endure at the weekend at Manchester City. Phillips goes back to Burgess in the centre circle. Burgess now finds Townsend. He can be pleased with his first 33 minutes of competitive Ipswich Town action.
I think he's been excellent,
hasn't he?
Yeah.
He's done really well. Town knew what they were getting when they were buying Connor Townsend. Was linked with Ipswich Town a long time ago. I think when he was at Scunthorpe before he went to West Brom. Had a fairly successful spell in the West Midlands. Clark gets the ball to Johnson. Johnson on the grass to Ogbenny. Infield to Johnson again, knitting things together down the right hand side there as Jens Kajust. Ball just runs away from him. Wimbledon clear, but it's O'Shea who pops a little header back to Christian Walton, just to keep Christian awake more than anything. So he really hasn't had to do anything at all with his gloves in this first period, which has 11 minutes to run live on BBC Radio Suffolk. The Town fans making all the noise off to the left. Johnson to Kajust. Now with Calvin Phillips. Ogbenny, another debutant, 6 of them in this Town team. Back it goes to Kajust. Now O'Shea. Townsend along the deck to Clark. I think all 6 subs have got a touch in this move. Clark trying to take on Beeler. He's got the beatings of him. Clark comes in field, gets into the area and shoots, saved by the goalkeeper on his near post. That was typical Jack Clark play.
That's exactly what we saw when he was at Sunderland, and exactly what I'm sure Kieran wants to see from him. Lovely, turned the guy this way, that way, the other way, coming in on his right foot. Good strike, down at the near post, well fielded by the goalkeeper. But that's what we want to see from Jack Clark, that's for sure.
Nice to see Town get a second goal before half-time. Walton receives the ball from the long Goodman goal kick, underarm to Townsend. Beeler closes them down. Townsend just goes back, safety first. O'Shea to Johnson. Johnson looking forward. Al-Hamadi's not been in the game too much, but he has scored the only goals so far. Ogbene's flick goes to Bugil. Bugil on halfway. Loose from him. You can see what he's trying to do, feed it into the path of the onrushing Maycock, but it had to be inch perfect, that pass, otherwise, as was the case, the claret shirt was going to play it back to Walton, so Town can rebuild again from the back. Town the better side with this lead. Kieran McKenna's thoughts to come before 10:30, usual match night hours. Hopefully hear from an Ipswich Town player as well. Ben Johnson. Town in claret, playing from left to right for this final 9 minutes of the first half. The only goal after 3 minutes. Townsend with a corner, Al-Hamadi with a header. Clark plays a 1-2 off of Phillips, gives it to Johnson. Johnson wants to run through midfield, still has it, waits for an option, gives it to Chaplin. Chaplin over the top for the run of Ogbene. I think that was the intention, although Al-Hamadi wasn't too far away. Phillips goes over the top of a challenge. Chaplin wins it well. In flies another challenge, this time from Johnson. Spin on the ball from Maycock, but he was having his shirt tugged, says the referee. Free kick Wimbledon inside their half.
Yeah, that was a bit rough and tumble there, wasn't it? There was no quarter asked at all. But just looking at Al-Hamadi, I mean, to be fair to the guy, he does a huge amount of running. I mean, the ball's not going to him. Whether those runs are good enough or not would be a question. But, I mean, he is constantly causing their defenders to track him and go with him.
The banner on the far side, Womble till I die, amongst the home supporters. On this left, it's Tilley. Gets the ball from Johnson. Tilley making inroads down this near side. In comes his cross. Walton just guarded the near post area, so he wasn't about to be embarrassed. It wasn't too far away from that corner.
No, I think that was definitely a cross, wasn't it, Brennan? Yeah. But it went in between angle of post and bar, but as you say, Walton just policed it to make sure there was no danger.
He did well against Liverpool, didn't he, Christian Walton?
Oh, excellent. Made a wonderful save when it was 1-0 or 2-0. I mean, you know, he really had a fine match.
Wimbledon trying to get forward far side. Town clear. Al-Hamadi beaten by his former colleague Johnson. His stab ball forward is dealt with by Kajust, and it's again Ipswich Town in possession, as they have been for the vast majority of this first half. Johnson over the top looking for a run of Chaplin. Should be dealt with in the air by Johnson of Wimbledon. O'Shea heads to halfway, nodded forward by Reeves ahead of Phillips. O'Shea takes it on for Ipswich Town. Strong boy, puts it down the line but out of play.
Good strong defensive work, wasn't it? Yeah, very good indeed.
He's a strong lad, Dara O'Shea. Heavily linked to Wolves and Brentford this transfer window. Just passing his man Matt Stevens on the stomach as they line up for this Wimbledon throw-in on the near side. 6 minutes to go in the first half. Still Town 1-0 up. This Carabao Cup second round tie. Ball need forward by Ben Johnson. Wimbledon send it far side. Townsend trying to let it go out. He goes into Beeler. Flag's gone up. It's a Wimbledon ball on the far side of the field. Maybe the ball didn't have enough pace on it for Townsend to let it go. Drinks break for James Tilley down in front of us. Warm, balmy evening in southwest London as we watch on here. It's that time of year it's still short sleeves. Reeves for Wimbledon with a chance to maybe create something in the final 5 minutes of this first half. Opportunities for Wimbledon have been very scarce in this first period. They're 1-0 down, but from this set piece, who knows? Reeves crosses it into the Ipswich Town area. Good ball, and it's 1-1. Wimbledon have equalised. It's Omar Bugil. 40 minutes played, and this Carabao Cup tie is all square. AFC Wimbledon 1, Ipswich Town 1.
Yeah, just a long ball into the middle, and he got in between our defenders. There were enough defenders there, but he's got it, and he just used the pace on the ball to guide it into the bottom of the net. Walton had no chance.
none whatsoever. And Wimbledon will probably feel that that's maybe their best route to a goal tonight, and they've taken advantage of that opportunity.
Yeah, we've had plenty of the possession, but haven't really hurt them apart from the goal. But now we need to up it a wee bit, because to be fair to Wimbledon, they've had very few opportunities going forward, and as we said earlier, that seemed to be the route that they might have some luck with, and that certainly proved to be the case.
So I was just thinking, Wimbledon maybe getting goal side now. Bugil wide on the right hand side, back to the town players. They've won themselves a corner kick, ending the first half on something of a high. The first goal coming after 3 minutes, and the second goal again coming 5 minutes before half time, and that's made Wimbledon rather buoyant. Yeah, I was just thinking as you were talking there, for all Town's possession and clearly been the better side by distance. Goodman hasn't made many saves at all, the Wimbledon goalkeeper. There has been a
Johnson's shot over the bar really has been the apart from the goal, the only real dangerous moment.
90 seconds after they equalised, Wimbledon have a corner kick. Their tails are up again. Good delivery, double fisted away by Walton. The referee's seen a problem in there. Walton stayed down after making contact with the ball. Foul on him. Free kick to Ipswich Town. 1-1 then in this Carabao Cup tie. Yeah, there was the effort from Johnson over the bars, Barry just said, and also that run from Clark, which ended up with an effort towards the near post, which you would have expected the goalkeeper to save, and he did. Of course, Wimbledon had the ball in the net earlier on. That was disallowed. Not so this one, though. Ben Johnson looking for Ogbenny. Ogbenny's crunched to the floor by Tilley. The referee says play on. Chaplin is there battling for the ball. He took an accidental slap to the face. He now is going to be taking the throw-in. Or at least he wanted to. Yep, back it goes to O'Shea. I wouldn't have thought there'd be masses of added on time at the end of this first half. 2.5 minutes of normal time exactly. Still on the clock. BBC Radio Suffolk Sports. The noise now is coming from those Wimbledon supporters. O'Shea to Ben Johnson. More touches than anyone surely in this game. Ben Johnson, I think. Back he goes to O'Shea. O'Shea then finds Burgess up through the centre circle. Little deft layoff to Kajust. Haven't mentioned him for a little while. O'Shea to Ben Johnson. Can Ipswich Town re-establish their lead right at the end of the first half? Less than 2 minutes of normal time to play in the first period. Ogbenny taking on his men. Good ball forward to Johnson, trying to give it back on the 1-2 to Ogbenny. Down on one knee, Tilley clears. O'Shea gets there ahead of Stevens. Good battle between these two. Similar in stature, O'Shea and Stevens. Here is Cameron Burgess on the centre spot for Ipswich. To Townsend. Final minute of the first half is now approaching. Al-Hamadi and then Bugil. Such a good strike partnership together last season. Got the goals in either net in this half. Ogbenny to Chaplin. Chaplin, ball into the box. Nicely taken down by Al-Hamadi, but then I think his shot came off his standing foot. Somehow it's gone out behind off of himself for a goal kick rather than a corner. Yeah,
he took it beautifully on the run, but he was always at an extremely difficult angle. He just didn't get his navigation right on that one. But again, the willingness to work of Al-Hamadi has been a feature tonight, because he certainly hasn't received the ball many times, but he's certainly tried to stretch the Wimbledon defence where he can.
In terms of attacking options, if things stays down, whatever happens, I would imagine the likes of Delap, Hutchinson and Taylor might see some game time. Maybe not so much Delap. If Ipswich Town had a comfortable lead in this game, heading towards the latter stages, he might be held back for Fulham at the weekend. Pretty much certain to see the likes of Taylor, Harness, maybe Hutchinson. Let's hope they're not needed, because Ipswich Town do have a comfortable cushion in the second half. But at the moment, looking more and more likely to be even Stevens at half-time. Just the 1 minute of added on time, which we're now into. Wimbledon go long, but probably too long. Burgess gets a head start and plays it back to Walton. Walton, nothing he could do about the goal. Town and still looking for their first clean sheet of the season in League and Cup. O'Shea's carried the ball up to the halfway line, then gives it to Chaplin off to the right. Ogbeni wants it. Chaplin's held on to it, still has it. Chaplin in towards Phillips. Phillips then gives it to Townsend. Nice control from him. Little ball into the box to Kajust down the left channel of the Wimbledon area. Can Ipswich Town take the lead just before half time? It's Jack Clark. Clark to Phillips out to the left hand side. Kajust, I think, trying the cross. Charge down. Phillips gets hold of it again for Town. And that's it, surely, for the first half. Just a few seconds to go, and that's it. The referee blows his whistle. And it's 1-1 between these two sides. How would you sum that one up, Barry Kent?
Well, in terms of possession, in terms of moving the ball, very good. Great start with the early goal. But, of course, the problem being that we weren't really penetrating. We needed a few more shots and a few more crosses, that's for sure. And we've got caught with a long ball into the area from a free kick, and a fine header, it has to be said. We find ourselves equal at the moment, but I mean, in terms of sheer possession and some of the quality of football, the movement of the ball, it's been very good. So hopefully there's more to come in the second half.
It's a good goal, wasn't it, after 3 minutes?
It was a very, very good goal, beautifully headed in by Al Hamadi, a very good corner, and I think that's probably where we'll have a bit of more fortune in the second half. But I mean, fair play to Wimbledon. They've kept themselves in the game, and they've taken their opportunity when it came.
Town haven't looked like a gang of strangers, have they? That have just been thrown together.
They've done well. Phillips has looked very comfortable. Kajust has looked a classy sort of a player. Left back has been our best player, in my opinion. He's had an excellent full debut for us. So there's lots of positives. I mean, it's just a bit of a shame that goal went in before half time. But 45 minutes, and as I say, with the quality on the pitch, the quality on the bench, you'd be hugely hopeful that they can qualify for the next round.
Without the need for penalties after 90 minutes, fingers crossed. Whatever happens in the remainder of the game, you'll hear it live on BBC Radio Suffolk Sport. But after the first 45 here at Plough Lane, it's on as even. AFC Wimbledon 1, Ipswich Town 1.
It's one of 7 second-round Carabao Cup ties taking place tonight. The draw for round 3 will be made after the 8 o'clock kick-off between Nottingham Forest and Newcastle United. The Magpies currently have the lead in that one, a Joe Willett goal in the opening minute. Wolves are 1-up at home to Burnley. Second half just getting underway at Molineux. That was a 7:30 kick-off. It's Cardiff 1, Southampton 2 in South Wales. Keane Lewis Potter has just given Brentford a lead at Colchester, 1-0 there. Swansea 0, Wickham 1, and West Ham and Bournemouth are goalless at half-time. We will have some non-league football when we return in just a moment.
On BBC iPlayer.
We are not in control of this situation.
We know that these shootings are very upsetting for the community.
It's a gathering storm, and I'm worried about anyone who's at the centre of it.
There will be consequences.
And this culture or code of not grassing, we are way beyond that now.
They're all turning on each other. This ends before it begins.
Revenge runs in the family. I go down, you go down.
Blood for blood.
Put them down.
We've been in danger before.
But this is different, Rory. Look at me. This is different.
Sherwood, Series 2.
It's on a knife edge out there.
Continues Sunday on BBC iPlayer.
It's Graham Mack with Match Night on BBC Radio Suffolk. Half-time on our main feature. AFC Wimbledon 1, Ipswich Town 1 in the second round of this season's Carabao Cup. The opening ceremony of the Paralympics is underway in Paris. We'll hear briefly from Dave Clark, Chief Executive of the British Paralympic Association and one of the stars of the British team, Johnny Peacock, in a few minutes' time. Let's get some non-league football now, though. I mentioned earlier, little action of note locally tonight, but we did have a busy bank holiday weekend of action in the county. Brenna Woolley brought you post-match reaction from Needham Market's loss to Alfreton in the National League North during the Blue Hour on Monday evening. Also that day, there were matches in the Southern Premier League and Isthmian North. First league wins of the campaign for AFC Sudbury and Leiston. Sudbury thrashing County rivals Lowestoft Town 6-1 at the Mel Group Stadium, and Leiston seeing off Royston 2-0 at Victory Road. Elsewhere, defeats for Ipswich Wanderers, Mildenhall Town and Newmarket Town, while it was Felixstowe and Walton United United, who got the better of the all-Suffolk clash at the Martello ground as they beat Bury Town 3-1. The Seasiders had knocked Bury out of the FA Cup 4-0 less than a week earlier, but this match wasn't as one-sided, with manager Stuart Bordley having to rely on late goals from Joshua Hitter and Sam Ford to earn all 3 points.
It was a very different game to the other night, obviously. And we fully expected it to be. You don't have two easy games against Bury. That's one thing's for certain. So, yeah, really, really pleased with the result. And I thought, on balance of play, we deserved it.
How important was it to get back to winning ways after losing at Whittam Town on Saturday?
Yes and no. Yeah, obviously, getting back to winning ways is very important. But it's people say, we've lost to Whittam. It's certainly not a crisis. We played quite well, actually. They're a half decent team. Hit us on the break. They've got a lot of pace up front, and I think all we were guilty of first half really was not taking our chances there. So if we'd have took our chances, we'd have been 3 or 4 up at half time on Saturday. So yeah, it's one of those. But it's always nice to in front of your home crowd to beat your local rival, and one that's going to be challenging certainly at the top of the table come the end of the season.
We'll take a break from league action on Saturday. It's the FA Cup first qualifying round against Leverstock Green. I gather a side Felixstowe have never faced before, so I'm guessing you don't know too much about them.
No, a little bit. We had them watched, obviously in their replay at Haybridge last week or whenever it was. So yeah, we know a little bit. Not as much as perhaps you'd like, but yeah, we've had them watched, and I think they're a very solid, well drilled side, and any side that can go away to Haybridge and get a result in the FA Cup is certainly not going to be a pushover. So they're at our level now for a reason, and we're expecting a really tough game here.
Nick Garner with Stuart Bordley after Felixstowe and Walton's 3-1 win over Bury Town on Bank Holiday Monday. Nick also spoke with Mark Jolland, a member of Cole Skewes' management team at full time.
We spoke before, obviously trying to put right what happened in the game previous, the 4-0 defeat at half time. And yes, slightly change of personnel. Didn't want to change the shape. Cole believes in what we do, which is right. And I thought first half, although 1-0 down, there wasn't a lot in it. So, yeah, we came in happy, just said, plug away, keep at it, and we'll get our chances. And we did. I thought we come out second half and were really good for 20 minutes, dominated for the first 20 minutes of the second half. Got the equaliser, and then you'd think we'd go on. But then with Change's injury to Taylor Parr changed us. We made a really poor mistake. Joe was the first one to put his hands up, and that was a game-changing moment, really, the penalty, and then we never seemed to pick it up again after that.
I was going to say, I don't know what was said at half-time, but you certainly came out second half and had sort of renewed vigour and deservedly got the equaliser, and at that stage it was anyone's game, but you were right in it, weren't you?
Yeah, we just told them at half-time, gave them belief to carry on what you're doing. There's been nothing in it first half. And if you keep doing what we do, stick to the plans, it will gradually come. And it did. And it looked like everything was going to plan, like I say, until the game-changing moment. And then the third goal was another terrible goal to concede, near post from a corner. So we've got to cut these silly moments, these errors out, if we're going to go and challenge for this league.
Obviously, you'd won your first 2 games, we're top of the table. I know it's only very early on in the season, and it's being at the top of the table at the end of the season that matters, but must be disappointed to lose to Felixstowe for the second time in 6 days.
Yeah, definitely. As a local derby, and they've just got the Indian sign over us at the moment. We're used to over them, and they're just going their way at the moment. But we'll stick at it, and they've got to come to ours later in the season, so hopefully we can get one over them then. But like you said, it's where we end at the end of the season. We'll keep plugging away, doing our thing, and we'll be there or thereabouts.
Mark Jolland at Bury Town. Just looking ahead to a few fixtures of note this weekend in the National League North. Another long trip for Needham Markets footballers. They're away at Warrington Town on Saturday. A handful of FA Cup first qualifying round matches of note. We'll be at a few of these in our matchday programme this weekend. AFC Sudbury are on the road at AFC Dunstable. Felixstowe and Walton United at home to Leverstock Green. Leiston at home to Waltham Abbey this weekend. Lowestoft Town face Potters Bar Town at Crown Meadow. And there's an all-county clash as Newmarket Town face Ipswich Wanderers in the FA Cup on Saturday. And the Isthmian North back to league action for Cole Skew's Mark Jolland and the Bury Town management team. They face Sporting Bengal United at Rammeadow this weekend. A quick look at what's going on at the US Open tennis. Harriet Dart on court, and she's a break-up in the opening set of her match with the 19th seed Martha Kostyuk of Ukraine. Francis Tiafoe has made it through to round 3 in the men's draw. His opponent had to retire from that match earlier. He was playing Alexander Shevchenko and could now face fellow American Ben Shelton in the third round. Coco Gauff and Novak Djokovic among those in action later today. I mentioned the opening ceremony of the Paralympics well underway in Paris, with the action beginning tomorrow. UK Sport, which distributes the lottery funding to the sports, has set Paralympics GB a target of between 100 to 140 medals for the Games. Here's Dave Clark, the Chief Executive of the British Paralympic Association.
I think the targets are that we win well, that we perform better than ever. I think the context, though, is that what would have got you a gold medal in 2012 won't see you on the podium in 2024. So I'm absolutely sure we're going to have our best performance ever. What that means in terms of medals, that will unfold over the next 11 days.
We heard from East Bergholt powerlifter Zoe Newson and the family and coach of Beccles swimmer Will Ellard earlier in match night. Another one of the stars of the British team is sprinter Johnny Peacock. He won gold in the T64 100 metres at London 2012 and Rio 2016, but had to settle for joint bronze in Tokyo 3 years ago and is looking to get back on the top of the podium in the French capital.
When you've won a gold medal, silver medals aren't that fun. You know, they're always a disappointment, and I think when anyone believes that you can go and win that gold, you know, I do believe that I have potential. I'm running better than I've run for the last 4 years. I feel like I can fight again. And I think that's something that is really important.
This from Dan on our full match commentary tonight from Plough Lane. We've dominated possession but really threatened the goal in the first half. Their goal giving us offside was actually onside, so lucky to only go in at 1-1. Impressed by Connor Townsend so far. Unimpressed, though, by Ben Johnson, says Dan, but adds we should have enough to go on and win this game comfortably. The second half is next.
The third minute of this cup tie, chance for the cross to come in from Ogbeni, cleared away as Forrest could just. He recycles it out to the left-hand side. In comes Townsend's cross, headed down by Chaplin. Maybe a chance for Al-Hamidi back at Wimbledon. Chaplin's effort is just wide. He appeals for a corner kick and gets it. Left-footed, looks a good ball from Townsend, headed in. And Ipswich Town take the lead inside 3 minutes, and there's no celebration. It's Ali Al-Hamidi back at Plough Lane. The dream start for Town in this cup tie. O'Shea, good ball forward to Clark, who found a nice pocket of space. Jack Clark, edge of the area, great run from Clark, gives it to Chaplin, who dummies it. Chance for Ogbeni. Ogbeni dinks it into the middle, pulled back. Could just on his debut, deflected, cleared away. Clark. First thought was to go forward. That option wasn't on, so sensibly enough gives it back to O'Shea. O'Shea digs the ball out to the left-hand side, finds Townsend. They would have been together at West Brom. Here's Kajust, square to Johnson. Johnson has a go, gets underneath it, decent hit from him, always rising over the bar. Bila crosses into the Ipswich area. Maybe a chance in the Wimbledon box, it's 1-1. The flag has gone up on the far side. It was a long ball forward. Wimbledon brought it down in the area, swept it into the near stick before Walton could get down in time, but the yellow flag clearly visible far side, so the home celebrations are short-lived. Townsend along the deck to Clark. I think all 6 subs have got a touch in this move. Clark trying to take on Bila. He's got the beatings of him. Clark comes in field, gets into the area and shoots, saved by the goalkeeper on his near post. That was typical Jack Clark play. Reeves crosses it into the Ipswich Town area. Good ball, and it's 1-1. Wimbledon have equalised. It's Omar Bougail. 40 minutes played, and this Carabao Cup tie is all square. AFC Wimbledon 1, Ipswich Town 1.
Wayne Babin at breakfast.
As soon as Liam Gallagher pipes up, you know, it's like nasally as well, isn't it?
What's up, Dad?
Sheila knows what song I'm going to play, don't you, Sheila?
It's a good song if you've had a strong curry, isn't it?
Oh, I love it.
It's a burning thing.
Oh, don't. It's lovely. Absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much for that.
Lemmy from Motorhead.
I know I'm born to lose. Gambling's fools.
Is that B.A. Baracus?
Crazy fool. I ain't getting on no plane.
You hear him glunk his coffee down then? Give us another glunk. I love a clock.
Wayne Babin at breakfast.
Weekdays from 6.
BBC Radio Suffolk.
Another Wolves goal at Molineux. Guedes again. They lead Burnley 2-0 in the Carabao Cup tonight. Elsewhere, Cardiff 1, Southampton 2. Brentford ahead on the stroke of half-time away at Colchester. Wycombe 1-up away at Swansea. All square at the London Stadium between West Ham and Bournemouth. That one's 0-0. Second half just getting underway. And half-time now at the... half-time just approaching at the City Ground in the 8 o'clock kickoff between Nottingham Forest and Newcastle, which Newcastle lead by a goal to 0. In our main feature on BBC Radio Suffolk, AFC Wimbledon of League 2 1, Ipswich Town 1. Al Hamadi putting Town ahead early doors against his former club. But as you heard in that recap of the commentary, Beguil has levelled matters for AFC Wimbledon, so a potentially tricky second half in store. Let's rejoin Brenner and Barry Kent at Plough Lane.
Change at half-time for Danchio Ogbene's debuts just lasted 45 minutes. Marcus Harness coming on for him. I'd imagine that's pre-planned. Hopefully nothing negative involving the former Luton player. So Town have Walton in goal off to our right. Then it's Johnson, O'Shea, Burgess and Townsend. Phillips, Kajust, and then Harness, Chaplin, Clark in support of the goal scorer Al Hamadi. Still on the bench for Town, Slicker, Twanzebe, Wolfenden Davis, Luongo, Taylor, Hutchinson and Delap. Wimbledon have Goodman in goal, the back three of Ogundare, Johnson and Lewis. The wing-backs are Beeler and Tilley. In the middle, Reeves the captain, Ball and Maycock. Up front, Stevens alongside their goal scorer Bugiel. On the bench, Ward, Furlong, O'Toole, Kelly Neuville, Smith, Hippolyte, Williams and Piggott. Wimbledon in all blue, playing from left to right. The Town fans behind their goal off to the left. Town in the all-claret kit that they wore on Saturday at Manchester City. Play underway in this second half under the 4 giant floodlights here in southwest London. Al Hamadi after 3 minutes, Bugiel after 40. The 2 goal scorers. Harness, I suspect it has just moved into that right-sided area where Ogbeni was in the first half. Clark playing in front of us in the second half. Here is Townsend. Had a very good first half, Townsend. Clark looked exciting when he got on the ball. He's got it now. There he is on halfway. England under-21 international. Phillips goes back via Burgess to Walton. Town at 77% possession in that first half. 6 efforts, 2 on target. Wimbledon had a 100% success rate with their 1 effort on target. George Edmondson just coming back to settle on the bench down below us. Do wonder if George might be one of those players that leaves before Friday. Town will certainly be trying to prune their squad before the window closes with all of these new arrivals. Jack Clark square in midfield to Johnson, gets the ball out from under his feet, gives it to Harness on the far side. Up against Tilley, going to the byline, squeezes the cross into the hands of the keeper on the near post.
Well, much as it was in the first half, good build-up, brought Harness into the game well. He tried to get away, just didn't quite get past his full-back, so the cross was blocked, but as you were.
Town hopefully can get this done and dusted before 90 minutes and a penalty shootout. And that a little bit earlier, and also be into round 3 without any drama. As we said in the first half, Kieran McKenna will be hoping to play as many games as possible in this competition, and why not have a run deep into it as Burgess passes it back off his left instep to Walton. Walton takes the ball to the edge of his 18-yard area before dishing it out to Townsend on this near side. Townsend then goes back to Burgess, now to Walton in front of the one-tier stand off to our right. Fans standing in there. The vast majority, even though there are seats, most of them up on their feet. Kajust down the left, driving forward from midfield. Maycock takes the ball off them. Good midfield play from Maycock. There is Reeves, the creator of the Wimbledon equaliser. Too much on that ball, skims off near side. Nothing Beeler could do with it.
Good tackle there by Maycock, wasn't it? Because it looked like the juice was on his way and he clawed his foot round it and did very well.
Chance for these Wimbledon players to shine against some very good Town players. Harness, the substitute, carrying the ball to a point, has to check back, find Johnson. Infield, it's Phillips square to Clark. Clark controls it outside the area, inside the box it's Townsend, loan to the middle from Townsend, hit away. Would have been a tap-in if a Wimbledon defender hadn't been in the way. Al-Hamadi was looking for his second goal. Clark prevents the ball going out of play, running in field, quickly goes between a couple of players, then gives it to Johnson. Harness on the far side, immediately seeing a bit of the ball. Marcus Harness round the corner to Johnson. That was good play from Harness. Johnson has it, tight to that far touchline. Harness infield to Chaplin. Back it goes to Phillips. Running in from the far touchline, Connor Chaplin. His cross into the centre is a fairly flat one, headed away by Joe Lewis, crouching down. The Town fans applaud.
Well, that was an excellent move there that put Townsend in, and as you say, it only needed a touch from either defender or attacker, and that could have ended up. That was a really good move.
Johnson's throw in. Harness heads it into the area, then volleyed out of the ground by Ali Al-Hamadi, high over the stand, encasing the Ipswich Town supporters.
Well, that was a real chance, because that was beautifully headed back across him. He's on the penalty spot. Yes, it's a volley, but he should have got more control on that. That was a chance.
It really was. In the 5th minute of the second half. Still 1-1 on BBC Radio Suffolk Sport. Your thoughts welcome afterwards. 0800 141 2121 is the phone number. Text 81333. Start those messages SFK. Or WhatsApp, also start those SFK. 08000 321 333. Wimbledon trying to get forward. Can't get very far. Bugiel against Clark. Ogundare, who's got this throw in. Number 33 looking down this near touchline. Needs somebody to come short. Nobody's too willing to do that. Eventually Ogundare goes in field. Touch back to him by Maycock. Chaplin with a quickly taken throw, and Al-Hamadi holds it up. Needs some help. He's robbed. He was just outnumbered in the end, the Iraqi striker. Goodman swiftly passes the ball out to the left side. Long and forward it goes from Tilley. O'Shea's on the chase back towards the edge of his own area. Burgess gets there first, puts it onto the chest of Johnson. Johnson hits a square pass across the field. The fullback on the near side in front of us, it's Townsend. It's come forward 20-25 yards back towards Kajust. Here is Phillips. Phillips finds Burgess. There is Kajust again. It's going to be interesting to see who plays alongside Sam Morsey in midfield on Saturday. One would imagine the captain will come straight back into the side. O'Shea out to the left. Townsend takes it in his stride, comes in field. Good play again from Townsend. Back to Clark on the left. Clark now running into the box. Still Clark plays it square, looking for Chaplin. Touched on and then away from Lewis. It was touched on by Harness. Lewis knocks this ball out of the ground, this time far side.
Yeah, another good move. Jack Clark involved again. Townsend involved. Been hugely impressed with Townsend, I have to say. You know, hopefully now they can just make this pressure pay.
Throw it forward to Chaplin on the right hand side, gives it back to Johnson. Johnson running into the area, good play from him to Kajust. Kajust shots deflected and on the stretch towed away by Ogundare. Clark gets it back to Burgess. Burgess square to O'Shea. Get used to each other's games. O'Shea looking to Townsend, who again had gone on an overlap ahead of Clark. He's done that quite a few times. O'Shea nudges Bugiel off the ball. Bugiel with his heavily strapped right wrist. Ben Johnson into the centre, and Phillips. Come on Ipswich is the chant. The noisy 1800. Do have a trip to the capital to watch their side, and of course 7 Premier League games in London this year.
Yes, yep, 7.
It'll be West Ham will be the first one at the beginning of October. Fulham to come this weekend. John Walk's thoughts on the match day preview. Talking about Man City, Wimbledon, what he's expecting from Marco Silva's side. That's between 6 and 7 on Friday night, and then Saturday 2 till 6 full match commentary. Mick Mills alongside me at Portman Road for the visitor Fulham. Harness to Chaplin. Harness continued his run far side. Chaplin the captain. Ben Johnson again, Town with all the possession, but again Goodman's not having a great deal to do with the gloves off to our left. Clark, maybe that can change now when he's on the ball. Clark to Phillips. It's back to O'Shea. We'll be happy with things at the moment, keeping Town at arm's length. They'll feel if they can get themselves another corner, another free kick, they could turn this one totally around. Johnson high out to this near side. Townsend brings it down, then his ball in field. He's nudged to the floor, but he'd already passed it and lost it before then, Townsend. Now he goes after it. Ogundair back to Lewis. Lewis doesn't take any prisoners with that up and under. Burgess's header's down and out of play.
Yeah, not really doing much with the ball at the minute. Wimbledon, they're a bit pinned, but they're being very disciplined. They're not allowing any great gaps to develop, and Ipswich are going to have to continue to work and move the ball from side to side and try and prize a little opening from somewhere.
Forward from Burgess to halfway. Al-Hamidi rises and heads it on, but into the crowd. Here is Ogundair. Saw a little boy in the concourse earlier on before the game wearing a Wimbledon shirt with Al-Hamidi across the shoulders. He's here to watch his former hero, when he saw his former hero score a goal after 3 minutes, but sadly Wimbledon, after a set piece of their own, equalised 5 minutes before half-time, and that's still where we're at. Pretty much 10 minutes gone in the second half. Kieran McKenna is composed as ever, arms folded down in front of us. Very much at home in the Premier League he's been for these first 2 games. Kajust fouls Beeler. It's another free kick to Wimbledon. It was a sloppy challenge from Kajust, and it's given Wimbledon one of those opportunities that I talked about a few moments ago, that they'll feel they might need to get a winning goal in this game.
Not a dissimilar position.
No, it's not, is it?
No.
This is a chance for Wimbledon. It's a fair way out, but Reeves has hit a couple of good set pieces. One of them resulted in the equaliser. 10.5 gone in the second half at Plough Lane. Wimbledon, from a free kick, maybe have a chance to go ahead for the first time in this Carabao Cup second round tie. It's Reeves, one hand in the air, that's the signal. Deep towards the far post, headed into the net. Deja vu. League 2 Wimbledon, 57 places below Premier League Ipswich Town, have turned a 1-0 deficit into a 2-1 lead.
An exact replay of the first goal.
Yep.
The ball to the back post, a towering header. Walton no chance into the top corner, and now we'll see really the mettle of this team, because apart from those 2 efforts, Wimbledon really haven't had a lot of possession, haven't created a lot. But while you're always drawing, then there's always a chance, and that's gone right into the top corner, and Ipswich Town have got a job on their hands now.
I think it's Matt Stevens who's been credited with the goal. That was it. That was always going to be Wimbledon's threat. He can take a free kick, Reeves. And as Barry just said there, Walton not given a chance. Mind you, we didn't want to go to Barrow anyway, did we? 57 gone in this cup tie. Still more than enough time for this Ipswich Town team and the players in reserve, the likes of Delap and Hutchinson, to sort this one out. But at the moment, Town behind. And what in the space of around about 15 minutes worth of action. That goal pretty much 10 minutes into the second half. I would have thought this after 39 minutes of this game would have been possible, but it's a buoyant Plough Lane. Ipswich Town fans now are silenced. Number of Town do equalise, and it stays 2-2. The penalty shootout would be straight off the back of this game. No extra time at this stage of the Carabao Cup. Scalp this would be for AFC Wimbledon. Here is Harness up towards Chaplin. Wimbledon knock it out to the far side and out of play. 2 efforts on goal, 2 goals for AFC Wimbledon. Kieran McKenna's facial expression no different to what it was at 1-0. Luongo's been told for a wander. I did wonder if he would come on for Kajust at some point fairly soon. Johnson upended, had to play the ball just for a throw-in. Well, Wimbledon trying to take a throw-in. The referee has given a foul for that challenge on Ben Johnson. We've certainly got to do more in terms of final third action. There is Townsend. You can certainly be pleased with his debut. Tries to find Kajust, who'd gone a run down the left-hand side. Well intercepted by Beeler, the right wing-back. Maycock spots a gap in midfield. Gets it to Ball. Harness closing down Tilly, far side. Launched that. Flags up for an offside against AFC Wimbledon. Fans are bouncing up and down off to our right-hand side, really loving life. Kajust to O'Shea. Townsend of Ipswich. Obviously odds on to win this game ahead of this match. There is Harness, closed down immediately on a very swift James Tilley. Johnson pretty much down the halfway line to Burgess. Stand up if you love the Dons is the chant. The vast majority are standing up as well. Tricky time for Wimbledon. What, a couple of decades or so ago now, serious question marks about the future of the club. Really passionate, hardcore group of supporters. In the heady days of the FA Cup win in the late 80s to the original Wimbledon becoming no more. But now the rebirth, this would be one of our best results in that time. Johnson trying to thread it through. Al-Hamadi's brought down, is he? The referee's given a yellow card to Joe Lewis, I think it is, for hauling Al-Hamadi to the deck, and Town have a free kick in a good position.
He turned him beautifully there. He wasn't in on goal or anything like that, but he was certainly going towards the penalty area with the ball at his feet and just dragged him back. Let's see if we can conjure something up from this position.
It's Townsend is the only contender. He fancies this, and well he might. It's his side, right of centre. Left footer Townsend over this free kick. Referee's painted his white line, which is a good 5 yards inside the Wimbledon box. The ball 5 yards outside of it. There's a few Town players standing in front of the wall. O'Shea, Burgess, Al-Hamadi. Phillips is having a word with Townsend. I think Phillips is just going to roll the ball one turn into the path of Townsend. The safe money's on Connor Townsend having a go. 61 minutes gone. Town trail AFC Wimbledon. This Carabao Cup tie. 2-1 the score at Plough Lane. Free kick Ipswich. 23 yards from goal. Townsend comes forward. And it's into the crowd. The Ipswich Town fans having to field that one.
Yep, that was way off target. That wasn't even close, was it?
No, nowhere near. I didn't see any dip on it at all. Just opportunity for Town. Both of Wimbledon's goals have come from well, in fact, all three goals have come from set pieces, but the two damaging ones either side of half-time have, as Davis, Taylor and Luongo warm up on this near side. Premier League, you're having a laugh as the chant from the AFC Wimbledon fans over the halfway line. One in the air by Burgess. Down goes Al-Hamadi. The chances of Liam Delap having the evening off altogether are looking slimmer and slimmer. Likely to see him at some stage if things stay as they are. High ball into the London sky. Offside against Wimbledon. There's some movement from the Ipswich Town bench, and actually it might be Delap. No, it's Jack Taylor is getting himself ready down below us. Liam Delap, another Ipswich Town player that qualifies for the Republic of Ireland going forward. Phillips to Johnson. With next to nothing in the way of a goal threat so far in this game. Kieran McKenna now ringing the changes, calling Luongo back to the bench. So a new look midfield would appear to be imminent. 63 minutes worth of action for Kajust and Phillips. Wimbledon throw far side, they lead 2-1. Harness with a header down. It's to an Ipswich Town player, Jack Clark, on his debut, edge of the area inside the box, gives it to Al Hamadi. And the final defender gets it away. It was Bila, and then a wasted effort lashed off the outside of Townsend's boot. And the follow-up.
Good ball from Jack Clark there. Not an easy chance for Al Hamadi, but he didn't really get hold of it, and the guy came and blocked it really well. And then Townsend, who I've been praising for the whole match, has now put one free kick into the stand and one free shot over the stand. So I don't think I'll praise him up anymore.
No, he has had a good game. We have 26 minutes of normal time to go. I wondered if Jack Clark might have fancied a goal himself there rather than unselfishly looking for Al Hamadi. Good defending from Townsend in briskly. Reeves has had a good game in midfield for Wimbledon, created both goals as the ball goes back to Goodman onto the chest of Bugil. Bugil forward, volleyed by Burgess, headed on by Kajust. Away from Lewis. O'Shea is there ahead of Bila to give it back to Christian Walton. Town conceded at least twice in all three of their games so far this season. Phillips, that was almost suicidal, giving the ball away at the back. Burgess cleared it on the centre spot. Reeves, in steps Burgess. It's a pass in the end for Chaplin. Chaplin off the outside of his left boot. It's a lovely ball. Clark inside the Wimbledon area. Clark still has it, shaped to shoot. Didn't, dragged it to his left-hand side. Gives it back to Townsend. Now it's with Calvin Phillips. Clark. Back his pass goes to O'Shea. O'Shea finds Johnson. Johnson's cross into the area. And Kajust was clearly having his shirt tugged. The referee didn't see it. It's a goal kick to AFC Wimbledon.
Yeah, that's a bit better. They seem to have just gone up a gear now. They seem to be quicker to the ball. Obviously they realise they've only got 25 minutes left now. They're really going to have to put in a shift to get something from this match.
Off goes Kajust to be replaced by Jack Taylor, who scored here last season. And Luongo is going to be coming on, probably, one would imagine, for Calvin Phillips. Yeah, up goes the red, number 8 alongside the green 25. What have you made of Phillips and Kajust tonight, Baron?
I think he's very clever. You can see he's played at a higher level, the way he moves, the way he gets into space, and Phillips has done the simple things very well tonight. He's obviously got a bit of work to do to get back to the levels he was at, we hope, but he's been comfortable enough, and he's got a good hour and a bit in his legs, so that's a bonus for Kieran.
So on come a couple of the lads that helped Ipswich Town gain promotion from the Championship. Luongo, of course, helped them get promotion from League One before that. What a signing he's been for the club. Australians on in midfield. Ben Johnson to Harness. Harness up against Tilly. Tilly blocks him off. Johnson's on the ball though for Ipswich. He plays it back to O'Shea. Some movement from the Wimbledon bench. I think Smith is about to come on for them. 2-1 Wimbledon. Johnson crosses for Ipswich into the Don's box. Clark reads it better than anyone in there. Clark wide left for Ipswich Town outside the Don's box. Townsend's gone offside. Clark pulls the ball back to Luongo to the right hand side and Ben Johnson. Johnson still has the ball, blocked off by Wimbledon. Forward for the Dons, but O'Shea's there first. He gives it back towards Walton. Alistair Smith on loan from Lincoln is the player about to come on. He's a giant midfielder. Had some time at Colchester in the past. Here is Clark. Somebody you look at as somebody that could create something for Town in this game. Gives it to Ben Johnson. He has to go from a long way out. Cannons off a Wimbledon defender. Town can start again with Harness. Infield to Chaplin. Back it goes to Luongo. Now it's with Townsend. It's all in the central area. Harness backpedals to the far side, offering width. Town instead come down the near side. Clark on the left wing. Pings a pass back to Burgess. Townsend. Town going to start the season with 3 successive defeats. Still time to go. 68 minutes played. O'Shea up to Chaplin. Finds Taylor, very tight and congested in the centre of the field. Town now get it to the left with Jack Clark running it. Hassan Bila gets inside the box, now on the edge of it. Clark goes square, eventually to Johnson. Johnson into the box to Harness. Harness clips his cross in, off a Wimbledon defender. It's a corner kick to Ipswich Town.
Yes, very patient build up again, not trying to force it, waiting for the little gap, and they played it well. Fortunately, the cross was just cut out, but encouraging signs, and I think this will probably be the pattern of the game for the last 20 odd minutes. But let's hope the corner can bring some reward.
21 minutes to play at Plough Lane. Town behind. Corner kick into the centre. It comes. It's travelled a distance. Oh, it's off the line. And then cleared away by the Wimbledon defender. So close to an equaliser for Ipswich Town.
I think it was a back heel, wasn't it?
It was.
Longo. And sort of the defender and the goalkeeper somehow between them managed to just claw it off the line.
I thought it was rolling into the corner of the net. It seemed to take a while. But yes, corner kick to Ipswich Town. It's Townsend to take it. He's taking them from both sides. This will be an away swinger from in front of the Ipswich Town supporters. We're into the final quarter of this game. Town at the moment heading out of the Carabao Cup. Exactly 70 minutes played. The referee sorting out something in the box off to our left-hand side. Can Town draw level? Townsend, low corner kick in. It comes towards Chaplin, blocked off. Might be recycled on the edge of the box. Up goes Bila. There's a high boot by Cameron Burgess, trying the overhead from 18 yards. Here comes the big man, Smith, for Wimbledon. And the player going off for them is Balls. That looks like for like in terms of midfielder. Smith's going to offer a real aerial presence. Brought on as much for help in his own penalty area and converting another set piece for Wimbledon. Be part of Johnny Jackson's thinking. A few players have links to Johnny Jackson's old club Colchester on the books here at Wimbledon. And it is Ball who applauds and is being warmly serenaded by the Wimbledon fans. Off he comes. And it's the final 20 minutes. It's going to be a double change. Joe Pigott is coming on against his former club. He's replacing Wimbledon's first goal scorer of the night, Bagil. Top scorer with 21 goals for Wimbledon, the season that he ended before joining Ipswich Town. Just the 3 goals and 29 appearances for Ipswich, a lot of them substitute appearances. Well, it did surprise me. Joe Pigott has played as many as 29 games for Ipswich. One of the Paul Cook signings that sadly didn't work out. A lot of them spectacularly did. A lot of them still in the Ipswich Town squad tonight. You'll know a fair number of these players. Wimbledon number 39. Maybe desperate to have a positive impact for his current loan club. Reeves still doing well for Wimbledon. Then they go forward, headed wide on the left-hand side by Stevens. Cleared away by O'Shea. A good game for him to settle into life at his new club, O'Shea.
Yes, he's had a good debut tonight.
Yeah, he has.
He's played very well. But we have to ask the question of the central defenders, because both the goals have come from set pieces, crosses into the box.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a throw far side for Wimbledon. Some soft goals conceded by Ipswich Town at the weekend, and then again tonight. Yellow card for the Wimbledon player taking this throw in on the far side of the field. I think it might be Ryan Johnson. Very difficult to tell from here. Johnson passes the ball forward. Ipswich get it though. Taylor driving in midfield, but then giving the ball away. Reeves for Wimbledon. Taylor slides in there, wins it well. Great challenge by the former Peterborough man. Clark to halfway for Ipswich Town. He's bundled down by Reeves. Free kick. Still looks capable of creating something for Ipswich Town. Jack Clark. Ben Johnson. Forward to Chaplin. Doesn't want this on his CV as captain. Far side, Harness. Just rejoining us after half-time. Wimbledon, after equalising, then pretty much a carbon copy goal. Scored the third goal of the night, and we're still at 2-1. Townsend of Ipswich Town. We're soon going to be getting to that stage where we are asking if Ipswich Town can force a penalty shootout. Not yet, though. Still at a stage where they can go in and win in 90. Taylor, but they need to find a goal threat from somewhere. Well, it's the players out there, or Hutchinson or a Delap. Townsend on the left, pushes it forward to an onside Clark outside the Don's box. In comes the cross from Townsend to the far stick, headed away as far as Ben Johnson. Still Goodman underemployed. Johnson's cross into the middle, maybe towards Clark. Beeler dives towards it and glances his header out behind. Town have their 5th corner of the night. Hutchinson and Delap are coming on for Ipswich. Here come the cavalry. Corner kick to the team that trails. It's Ipswich Town with Townsend, left-footed, away swinger, headed down powerfully beyond the far stick. Chaplin hits the ball into the ground from 16 yards. He's got the technique to do better from there. It's a comfortable stop for Goodman.
Yeah, you'd fancy him from there. Burgess won a towering header, but it was blocked and it fell to Chaplin. Wasn't an easy chance by any means, but he has excellent technique, and he just got it, and the ball just spooned up and fell softly into the goalkeeper's arms.
Well, hopefully Delap, who was excellent at Manchester City, and Hutchinson, we know how good he's been for the last 13 months or so for Ipswich Town. Hopefully they can be the catalyst for at least an Ipswich Town equaliser. Kieran McKenna speaking to me post-match at the Etihad down the tunnel, singled out both of these players, how impressed he'd been with the job that they'd done against clearly world-class defenders. Taylor, back it goes to Burgess. O'Shea to Johnson. He got the assist, of course, for Smoddock's goal at the weekend, Ben Johnson. Chaplin, one would imagine he'd make way for Sam Smoddock's on Saturday. Smoddock's first start at Portman Road against Fulham, one would have thought. There is O'Shea on a run to halfway, only a 5-10 yard run or so. Chaplin hitting a crossfield ball. What a beautiful pass to Jack Clark. Excellent from the captain. Clark one-on-one with Beeler. Can't get away from him the first attempt. The ball spins back to Clark. He's come in field. Still Clark, edge of the box. Didn't find room for a shot. He's given it to Johnson. Johnson gets into the area. Down the right-hand side, into the middle it comes. The glancing header comes as far as Chaplin. The angle's too acute for a shot. The ball's still live inside the area. His cross is deep to the far stick. Brought down by a Wimbledon player. And then they pass it out to the right-hand side. Stevens should get there ahead of Burgess. Piggott's making an overlapping run down the line. Piggott's on the ball, just held off of it by Burgess, whose throw reaches Taylor. Taylor gives it back to O'Shea. Kieran McKenna showing signs of frustration. The fourth official more than anything. It's rare from Kieran. Harness. 33 or 32 minutes, played in this second half. Foul on Chaplin was there. Harness certainly appealing. Here comes the double change for Ipswich Town. Off goes Jack Clark, be replaced by Amari Hutchinson, and Ali Al-Hamadi's night is over as well. He'll be replaced by Liam Delap. Standing ovation for Ali Al-Hamadi, and he applauds back to the home crowd. He's conducted himself very, very well indeed. Clark sits down. He'll be better for that. 77 minutes for his new club. On come Hutchinson and Delap. Two almost certain starters against Fulham at the weekend. Free kick for Ipswich Town, nearer to the halfway line than the edge of the Wimbledon box. It's played short between Luongo and Johnson. Luongo into the centre circle, gives it to Burgess. Now it's with Townsend to his left-hand side. Harness now down the left-hand side since Hutchinson came on. Harness's cross looks a good one. It was headed away before Delap could get an opportunity to head in with his first touch of the game. And it's another throw-in for Ipswich Town. Probably hear the Town fans saying, come on Ipswich. I'll be as surprised as anyone by the scoreline, or will there be? There have been so many cup moments from Ipswich Town's perspective in recent seasons. It's not like long ago, of course, since Maidstone. That was at Portman Road. Here is Walton. Walton out to this left-hand side, and Burgess. Ipswich have the ball down this touchline with Townsend. 11.5 minutes to go in this game. Taylor to the far side, and Ben Johnson to the right. Hutchinson one-on-one with Tilly. First time he's had the chance to run with the ball, the former Chelsea player. Back to Ben Johnson. Good turn of pace from him down that far touchline. Tilly touches it out. Throw to Ipswich Town. Certainly edging closer to the can they force penalties time. Delap inside the Wimbledon box, gets to the byline, gets his cross in. Really good play from Delap. Almost conjured up something from nothing. Luongo with a header down. Wimbledon read it and get it away. And the Wimbledon player goes down quite lightly far side. Hutchinson and Luongo in a tangle. Hutchinson comes away with the ball. The referee's said play on. Looks like a good decision. To me, the Wimbledon player went down lightly. Luongo finds Chaplin, 30 yards from goal. To the left-hand side, Harness. Townsend's made a good overlapping run. In comes his cross. It was a good ball, headed away by a well-positioned Wimbledon defender. Piggott holds it up, gives it back into his own area. And Johnson left-footed clears, headed on by Piggott. Oh, mistake from Burgess, brings down Stevens. Going to be a yellow card for the Ipswich Town defender. Home fans desperately appealing for a red. There's the last defender. And it's going to be a yellow for the Australian international.
Yeah, late there. Thankfully they were covering defenders, even though it was only on just over the halfway line, but definitely a foul and definitely a booking.
Stayed down Stevens, understandably wasting a bit of valuable time. Well, is it going to be another embarrassing FA Cup exit for Ipswich Town? Into the final 10 minutes here. Great victory for Wimbledon this would be. It's Reeves, whose free kicks have created 2 goals. He's not going to create a headed goal from this set piece. Town have got a very high line off to our right hand side, and the ball's only 5 or 6 yards inside Ipswich Town's half of the field. Reeves knocks it forward. Haven't been cleared by Town just yet, then hooked away. Peels in the crowd for handball, not given. Chaplin didn't get enough on the ball there. Headed away by O'Shea. Hutchinson in the right back area to Luongo. Such a disappointing result this would be from Ipswich Town's perspective. Taylor to Townsend. Townsend trying to get Harness in behind. Harness has the ball, still covering defenders back though. He's just eventually outnumbered. Lewis knocks it long. Burgess is on the chase. Yes, Piggott. O'Shea steps in and he does well. He has had a good game. Former Burnley centre-half. Townsend. 81.5 minutes gone. Burgess. Well, we saw on Saturday how games can turn around quickly. Let's hope it happens in Ipswich Town's favour tonight, and we don't have to go through the rigmarole and stress of a penalty shootout. Town beat Reading on penalties in this round last season when Kieran Slicker was a bit of a hero. Ben Johnson towards Amari Hutchinson. Hutchinson coming in field. There's no way these Ipswich Town players that have been picked tonight should have got themselves in this predicament. But they've rarely threatened Goodman's goal, really since the word go. It's that one meaningful effort on target that was scored by Al-Hamadi. Burgess, of course that came from a corner kick. 7.5 minutes to play. Townsend, we know how many late goals Town scored last season. They'll never give up, they'll keep believing. Harness on the left hand side, in goes Beeler with a sliding, ineffective challenge. Nobody's too keen to get the ball back to Harness from the home crowd. Connor Townsend with a throw. So he's a more than able deputy for Leif Davis. Tries to play the 1-2 with Harness. Ball goes towards the corner flag. Out of play. It's a Wimbledon ball. It's Ogundaire's taken a while over this throw-in. Well, this would be hugely disappointing, Barry, wouldn't it, to put it mildly?
It would be. I mean, I was very bullish before the game because of the quality of player that was available, although they hadn't played together before, but they're all very well coached professionals, internationals amongst them.
Piggott trying to play ball.
It has been the two set pieces that have done for them. And we haven't really worked the Wimbledon goalkeeper too much. That's the other disappointing factor.
Tilly, very strong run down the far side, particularly at this stage of the game after 84 minutes in the tank. Hutchinson wins it back well for Town, but then the ball forward might reach Stevens, who fouls O'Shea. Johnny Jackson and his assistant and a couple of his substitutes not too impressed that Ipswich Town be given a free kick for that shoulder-to-shoulder challenge. Here's Cameron Burgess. 6 minutes to go. Here is Luongo. Heaven knows why I would predict that Ipswich Town are going to win a cup tie. Will I ever learn? On the left touchline is Harness. On the ball goes to Townsend, overlapping. Has he won a corner kick? Yes, he has. In rather unorthodox fashion. Just remind me when the FA Cup comes around in January to book off the free weekend of round 4. It's just unbelievable. Corner kick to Ipswich Town. It's going to be Taylor on this set piece. 5 minutes to go. Can Town get an equaliser? The ball's still alive inside the area. It might be Harness. He was tripped, turns, shoots. Comes out as far as Taylor. It was blocked off the effort. Taylor knocks the ball deep towards the far post. There's a Town player waiting. Chaplin headed away as far as Hutchinson. Can he create some magic? On the right hand side, edge of the Wimbledon box, pulls it back. O'Shea clips it in high to the centre, headed up by Burgess and then headed in. It's Chaplin, the captain, with a late equaliser. 4.5 minutes to go. He beat the goalkeeper to the loose ball. The keeper should have done an awful lot better, but we don't care. It's AFC Wimbledon 2, Ipswich Town 2. We're heading to penalties as things stand.
And what a brave header that was. What a brave header that was. Absolutely brave header by Chaplin.
Well, what can Ipswich Town do in this last 4 minutes? Can they get a dramatic winner? It was brave from Chaplin. I don't know what Johnny Jackson would have to say about his goalkeeper not claiming that. With a bit more gusto. Well, penalties as things stand. The Town fans have refound their voice. Lashed long to the far side by Wimbledon. Headed by O'Shea. Out of play on the second bounce. There'll be a bit of added on time to go. But at the moment, 3.5 minutes worth of action. Chapman's first goal of the season. One of those Town players who, again, on Saturday, if given the opportunity, they'll be trying to join that very short list of players that have scored for Ipswich Town at 3 different levels. Chaplin is on a list of a fair few trying to do that in the league. But he's got his cup season up and running. Taylor, ball forward, headed away by Tilly. Nodded on by Tilly himself. He then looks forward to Piggott, and the way is O'Shea. Johnson up towards Chaplin. Still time for Town to go and win it. Chaplin to Harness. Overlapping is Townsend. Harness gets the edge of the area and kind of runs out of ideas. Wimbledon players brought down. Free kick on the edge of the box for that foul on Maycock.
It's a shame because Harness had cut inside nicely there and it was beginning to open up, and Townsend again had made a tremendous overlap. I mean, after whatever the result of this game, Townsend comes out with tremendous credit.
Absolutely. He's probably been Town's best performer on the night. Free kick to Wimbledon on the edge of their area with just over 2 minutes of normal time to go as Goodman is going to be taking this set piece. Goodman from out of his area, left-footed, long downfield. Piggott rises, but Burgess heads it away from him. Hutchinson, the board is going to be really interesting. Johnson to Hutchinson. Town trying to win it late. Hutchinson running down the right-hand side for Ipswich Town. Still has it. Gives it in field to Luongo. Up towards Chaplin. Chaplin scoops into the box. Hutchinson down in the area. The referee's giving nothing. Town players convinced that should be a penalty kick.
Well, Chaplin trying a clever little toe poke of a ball. Just lifted it over the defender. And it looked like it was going to go into the path of Amari Hutchinson. He definitely looked like he was dragged back, but the referee was in a very good position.
James Furlong about to come on for AFC Wimbledon. He was the chap that let us through the gate when we arrived earlier on, Barry, this James Furlong.
Was he?
One of the boys actually said he'll probably score the winning penalty. Let's hope he's not right. But yes, he was. As we arrived at the ground, just after we'd seen the steward, I thought he looks like a player, and it's the lad that's coming on now. It's a throw-in opposite us, which Johnson is going to be taking for Ipswich. It's Tilley who is going off, and Furlong, his usual first choice at left wing back, coming on to replace him. 89.5 minutes played. Hopefully get Kieran McKenna's thoughts on air before at 10:30. We really should, even if there's a penalty shootout. Remember, no extra time. We're going to go straight to penalties as things stand. Interesting to see who the Ipswich 5 are. Look around there now. Imagine Hutchinson, Delap, Chaplin would be 3 of them. Harness potentially. Taylor could be it. Throw in to Johnson. Hopefully we won't need penalties. There are 4 minutes of added on time we're just into. Cleared away on the far side. Town needed penalties at this stage last year. Is history going to repeat itself? A few of the Town's fans seem to have disappeared. Empty seats off to our left. There weren't any earlier on. Want to make sure we get that 11:30 train from Liverpool Street. Townsend up towards Taylor. On the left-hand side, it's Harness. 2-2 on BBC Radio Suffolk Sport. Harness twisting and turning. Beeler slips. Still Harness has the ball. Back it goes to Taylor. It's the first minute of the added-on 4 here at Plough Lane. Burgess down the line to Townsend. Luongo to O'Shea. O'Shea knocks the ball left. Touched in by Townsend for another corner kick to Ipswich Town. It came off the first defender as he tried to side foot volley the ball square, Townsend.
Yeah, good, another good move. Nice long ball forward and volley cross, but unfortunately cut out for a corner. But here we go, here's a chance.
Townsend's walked away from this corner. It's Jack Taylor, the substitute, on it. 90 seconds into the added on 4 minutes. Town trying to prevent this cup tie from going to a penalty shootout. Referee just doing a bit of sorting out in the penalty area off to our left hand side. Jack Taylor waits. Forward he comes with this delivery. Looks a good ball as well. Bounces in the 6-yard area, and a shot from an angle from Chaplin was into the visiting crowd.
Yeah, bounced nicely for him. Quite an acute angle, but you'd have expected a player of his ability to have got that on the target.
2 minutes gone of the added on 4. At full time, if things stay as they are before the penalties, we'll whiz back to Graham for some news from other results in the Carabao Cup tonight. Fair few ties, including Colchester versus Brentford. Newcastle at Nottingham Forest will still be being played. After that comes the draw for the next round. So we might even get Kieran McKenna's reaction to the draw if his side's in it. Chaplin, forward and out of play. 90 seconds from a penalty shootout. Chance for either Goodman or Walton to make a name for themselves. Slicker, who was between the posts for Town's last shootout. Wimbledon throw. Launched long on the far side by Furlong. Appeals for a foul on a Wimbledon player. It's been given by the referee. Surely Wimbledon aren't going to score another goal identical to the first two. It's a free kick on the far side, which Reeves will be all over. They got more height on the field than they had for the first two goals, Wimbledon. Bringing on Piggott and Smith. Smith, who I don't think's touched the ball so far. This would be a shocker, though, Barry, wouldn't it, if they score from another free kick from a very similar position?
Almost identical position. And as you rightly say, they've now got Piggott on. They've got, it looks like the land of the giants in there.
30 seconds to go of the added-on 4 minutes. Reeves on this free kick for Wimbledon. Can they snatch a 3-2 victory? Plays it into the Ipswich town area. Volleyed away by the town defence. Then taken on the chest of Delap. Delap will run forward. Great run from Delap. Can he go the whole way? No, he runs out of steam and falls. Reeves gets on it for Wimbledon. Approaching the final 10 seconds. There's appeals for a foul by Delap. Just a little bit late on his man. A yellow card.
Yeah, frustration there, losing the ball. He shouldn't have done that. That was a poor challenge by the young lad.
Reeves with a free kick pretty much on halfway for Wimbledon. The 4 minutes of added on time are up. In the end, he's given it back to his goalkeeper. The final piece of action, surely, of this cup tie before we go to penalties. That is, with the shrill of the referee's whistle, going to be a penalty shootout to decide who goes through to round 3 of the Carabao Cup. Kieran McKenna walking onto the field of play, so too Johnny Jackson, to get amongst their players and decide on their first 5 spot kick takers. Let's go back to Graham in the studio.
Yeah, a couple of teams have made it through. Whistles just gone in the last few minutes in South Wales, where it's finished Swansea of the Championship 0, Wycombe of League 1 1. So Wycombe through to round 3 of the League Cup. All over at Molineux as well in the 7:30 kickoff. Wolves comfortable in the end against Burnley. 2 goals from Guedes. Wolves 2, Burnley 0. Quite a match at the Cardiff City Stadium. Southampton have just scored their 4th in stoppage time. Still playing, but it's Cardiff 3, Southampton 4 in that one. 3 times Southampton led through Fernandez, Amior and Archer. 3 times they were pegged back through Ruben Colwill, Ronnie Edwards and Alex Robertson, but looks like James Bree has got a winner for Russell Martin's side. Cardiff 3, Southampton 4. Brentford still ahead away at Colchester. Keane Lewis Potter with the only goal of the game so far. We're into stoppage time in that one. Colchester 0, Brentford 1. There's been a late goal at the London Stadium scored by Jared Bowen. West Ham 1, Bournemouth 0. Bowen's goal going in on 88 minutes. And in the 8 o'clock kickoff at the City Ground, Nottingham Forest are all square with Newcastle once again. Forest 1, Newcastle 1. The draw for round 3 of this season's Carabao Cup will be made shortly after that one is finished. So a run through again. Wolves through, 2-0 winners at home to Burnley. Wycombe also through, 1-0 winners at Swansea. A 5th Southampton goal now in South Wales, scored by Cameron Archer. So surely that is it. Cardiff 3, Southampton 5. Swansea 0, Wycombe 1. West Ham 1-0 winners at home to Bournemouth, and Brentford look like they're going to win away at Colchester. It is still 1-0 there. 20 to 10. We're with you till 10:30 with Match Night. Hopefully we'll get reaction from Kieran McKenna to AFC Wimbledon 2, Ipswich Town 2 in the second round of the Carabao Cup. One side is going to win on penalties. Are we just about ready for that? Let's check in with our commentary team. Barry Kent and Brenna Woolley at Plough Lane.
Yeah, just about. Graham Christian Walton's trooping off to our left-hand side. Clearly penalties are going to be taken in front of the Ipswich Town supporters. So the other players, the other 20 players, because of course Goodman, the goalkeeper, is going with them, are on the halfway line. Actually, the first taker is going to be Joe Piggott. So it's AFC Wimbledon going first. Piggott against Walton, former teammates, both brought to Ipswich Town in the summer of 2021, the demolition man summer of 2021. Walton just doing his stretches, punching the roof of his net. Let's see what he can do. Piggott scored one of his very few Ipswich Town goals from the penalty spot against AFC Wimbledon. This penalty shootout is about to start. It's Piggott. He comes forward, he rolls it into the net. There was a slight pause. Walton dived to his right-hand side, and Piggott went centrally. And it's AFC Wimbledon who score from their first spot kick.
Yeah, it's a bit of an Ivan Toney penalty, that, wasn't it, Brenner? He just took a very lackadaisical run-up for it and just sent Walton the wrong way. Good penalty.
It's Liam Delap of Ipswich Town on as a late substitute, with a chance to equalise from the spot early in this penalty shootout. Up against Goodman, off to our left in front of the Ipswich supporters. Here goes Delap. Oh, he fizzed it into the net. Rattled it beyond Goodman, and it's all square after a penalty each.
That's a proper penalty, that, wasn't it? That went in like an Exocet rocket. Goodness me. Two goalkeepers wouldn't have saved that.
All square after the first two penalties of this shootout. The winner through to round 3 of the Carabao Cup. Wimbledon have only been there once in their history before. Town trying to reach it for the second time in a row. Matt Stevens of Wimbledon with their second penalty. Forward he comes against Walton. He puts the goalkeeper the wrong way. That's a fabulous penalty as well. 2-1 Wimbledon, having taken one more. Well, a surprise in terms of the next Ipswich Town penalty kick taker. Cameron Burgess wasn't on my list when I was mentioning potential takers a few moments ago. Full credit to him, he's stepped up.
Absolutely.
Cameron Burgess with this penalty for Ipswich Town. Town 2-1 down in the shootout, but this is only their second attempt. This to level things up after 4 in total. Forward comes Burgess, slams it into the middle. It's 2-2, the perfect shootout so far.
Yeah, very good penalty, as you say. Not somebody you'd have had down in the first 5, but maybe Kieran's decided to leave his better penalty takers in brackets if it gets to the latter stages.
Teams quite often use their best penalty kick taker first and 5th, but of course the problem is sometimes it doesn't get to the 5th penalty kick taker, not always.
Exactly.
Reeves, who should be Mr. Dependable for Wimbledon on tempting fate, they created both of their goals in open play. He has their third spot kick against Walton, off to our left-hand side. He puffs out his cheeks, he's running from the D. Walton bouncing up and down on his goal line. The number 4, Reeves, with an arced run-up. He blasts it away over the bar. And Ipswich Town have a chance to go 3-2 ahead through Jack Taylor. Reeves misses the first spot kick.
Isn't that amazing? He's delivered 3 or 4 brilliant free kicks, 2 of which resulted in goals for Wimbledon. And yet from 12 yards, with nobody in front of him, he's put it over the stand.
Taylor on a key penalty kick for Ipswich Town to ram home the advantage of Reeves' miss. This to go 3-2 ahead. Forward comes Jack Taylor, the midfielder, saved. Tepid penalty. Wasted opportunity. Both sides have scored 2, both sides have missed 1.
Yeah, went for placement. There wasn't a great deal of power, and once the goalkeeper had decided which way he was going to go, that was always going to be a save.
More drama. Hussein Bila come through the academy here at AFC Wimbledon, the right wing back. Played the whole 90-odd minutes. Can Walton make his first stop of the shootout? The Ipswich Town sub-staff and Kieran McKenna watching on 20 yards in front of us. Bila with Wimbledon's 4th penalty of this Carabao shootout. He puts it into the corner. Walton got a touch on it, couldn't prevent it going in, and Wimbledon lead once more.
Yeah, excellent penalty. No chance for Walton. Right in the bottom corner.
Pressure now is on Amari Hutchinson. If he misses, Wimbledon have a chance to win it with their next spot kick. Amari's got to score. Amari Hutchinson, one of the younger members of this Ipswich Town squad. What a weight on his shoulders. He paces back off to our left. This to level it up at 3-3 after 4 penalty kicks each. Forward he comes, saved by the goalkeeper. If Wimbledon score their next penalty kick, Ipswich Town are out of the Carabao Cup.
Yeah. Goalkeeper got a bit lucky because he sent him the wrong way, but unfortunately the ball just struck him on the foot and ballooned up into the air.
Ogundare with a chance to send AFC Wimbledon into the 3rd round of the Carabao Cup. So many of their supporters have their phones up in the air videoing a historic moment, a chance for AFC Wimbledon to knock a Premier League side out of the Carabao Cup. Ogundare comes forward and scores! Goodness gracious me! Yet more cup misery for Ipswich Town. A new season, but the same old story. Beaten on penalties by AFC Wimbledon. Oh, that's not good at all. Come on, Ipswich Town. One of these years, give us a cup run. That's disappointing, Barry, isn't it?
Yeah, but very disappointing. When you consider the quality of the penalties that they took at Reading last year when they got through, that was very disappointing indeed. A fair play to Wimbledon.
Totally.
Their kicks were good. They missed the first penalty, so the pressure was on them, and they responded in the correct way. They took their 2 only chances in the game to make it 2-2, and unfortunately on the night, although Ipswich had all the possession, they didn't really work the goalkeeper enough. The only good thing that's come out of it is there's been some excellent performances. I thought Townsend was very good indeed, and we got some minutes into Calvin Phillips and to Caduce, so that will all help for the matches that are to come. But at the moment, a very bitter pill to swallow, it has to be said.
Does this have an impact on Saturday? Does it increase the pressure on Saturday? Otherwise, Ipswich Town could be going into the international break off the back of 4 straight defeats out of the Cup as well.
Yeah, I think every game in this league is going to be, with pressure attached to it, because we know we need to try and get points where we can. There'll be some matches when we pretty much know that's going to be extremely difficult. So I don't think it's made it any more difficult. I just think it would have been nice to have had a victory tonight and a cup run to look forward to. But I don't think it makes any difference to Saturday. New game and everything in the world to play for still.
And an awful lot of players aren't going to be playing much football at all, are they? That's the big blow. That's why we wanted a cup run.
Absolutely.
A lot of players missing weeks of competitive football now.
They will. And I know Kieran always uses, his full allocation of subs, but that's only, 16 players, and we've got 25 in the squad, so it is going to be extremely difficult, I would say. But, the chance was there to progress. We didn't take it, and we have to take our medicine.
Remind me never ever to predict an Ipswich Town victory as long as I've watched them.
I think you weren't the only one. We discussed it in the car coming up, and we thought, with the team that they were going to put out, with no disrespect to Wimbledon at all, you couldn't see anything other than a victory. You really couldn't.
Very little in the way of a goal threat from Ipswich Town tonight, something that has to change. The fear of Barrow doesn't exist anymore. Ipswich Town will not be in the 3rd round draw for the Carabao Cup. 2-2 here tonight with Wimbledon. But Wimbledon is who go through after a penalty shootout success, seeing off Ipswich Town by 4 goals to 2. We'll catch up with Kieran McKenna in some way, shape or form, and hopefully get that on air before 10:30. Town are out of the Carabao Cup.